Evelyn to Philip, V-mail dated December 21st, 1944. Dearest Phil, Mr. Chase was our guest for dinner last night, and as is his custom, he brought something for each of the kids. Adele got a stuffed dolly and Diane a nice rattle. I'd rather not talk too much of last night, for it was the sort of evening that upsets one. To begin with, Diana had an attack of cramps, and Goldie became terribly frightened. We all flew upstairs when she started yelling, and it took quite a while to bring Diana around. I had interrupted my dinner and just couldn't seem to finish afterwards. Then Mrs. Oakrock, our next-door neighbor, got on our ear about her hubby. It seems that she expected him home at 6:30, and he was way past due. This kept us up till 12 o'clock, and I called several police stations, hoping they might be able to find him as he was out with his truck and the streets were still pretty icy. It subsequently developed that the mister had gone to corporation without notifying his wife, who nearly had kittens in the meantime. I felt a strong urge to bop him. Ethel and Al came over to get Mr. Chase, and we all gabbed about this and that. I got Ethel a high chair seat for her high chair from our place. If you will recall, I tried to get one when I had the high chair and wound up using a pillow. It just so happened that we had an extra one on hand, and George gave it to me for nothing, and Ethel was all but delighted to get it. I bathed Adele and brought her down. She wore her pajamas, bedroom slippers, and robe and fairly glowed with cleanliness. When I told her that Mr. Chase had brought her a dolly, she said, "I'm happy, Mommy." I had told her a few days ago that Mr. Chase was coming to see her and thought she had forgotten, but she didn't. Then I asked her who the man was sitting in the chair. She immediately replied, "Mr. Chase." She became very fond of him before the evening was out and thanked him many times for the new doll, which has been christened Vicky. All Adele's dollies have names, and she refers to each one by their names. During a breathing spell at work yesterday, I managed to get lengthy letters off to the following: Mr. and Mrs. Bennis, Eddie S., Yale and Shirley, and Brother Seymour. I'm just about caught up on my correspondence as a result. Mr. Cohen, who used to live next door to my mother, drove me down as far as Broad and Girard, as he was going that way and I was headed for work. While riding down Broad Street, I noticed a sharpened dome at 1409 North Broad Street. I never knew they had another large branch here in Philly, such as their place at Broad and Wallace. Did you? I caught a subway at Broad and Girard and then an L and got to work early. I was very busy getting the files in order all day. I have to sign off now, whether I want to or not, for I see I've hit the bottom. Darling, I love you so much. The news continues bad, and I'm hoping it will improve within a day or so. See you soon again. Your Ev. Philip to Evelyn, 21 December 1944. Dearest Evie, there was no mail for me on either the 19th or 20th, and because I did nothing out of the ordinary in those 2 days, coupled with the fact that I was in a black humor because of the lack of mail, I couldn't find it in myself to sit down to write a letter to you. Please forgive me, my darling. Today, another cold and rainy one. Some mail finally got through. There were your letter of 28-29 November and your V-mail of 13 December. I enjoyed reading Adele's birthday letter, and it was good of her to write to her dad. Kiss the little darling for me, will you, sweet? The clipping showing the quilted robe you intend to get for the pumpkin is most attractive, Chippy. I would love to see her in it. But do you think it wise to wait till after Christmas to buy it? From what I read, there is a famine of consumer goods on the market. If you wait too long, I'm afraid there won't be any available. Your description of the scene and the action when Mom and Harry and Goldie presented their gifts to Adele was very nicely put, sweetheart. But I can scarcely credit the fact when you say Adele said thank you for the birthday presents. Do you mean she actually did? I'm glad, Chippy, to know that Mom and Harry and Goldie are finally showing some signs of consideration for you and Adele. I was surprised that they took your scolding about not writing to me to heart. I'll make every effort to answer their letters as soon as they arrive. Your email of 13 December gives me to understand that you received a lot of mail a few days before. I was certainly glad to read that. I hope Lil really intends to write this time. I really should have written to thank her for the package, but I'll wait for her letter now. I learned too from this letter that you had received Adele's gift from me. You say she's still talking about the Yacket, and that it's really a shame that it's so big. I'm sorry about that, honey, but I think I explained why it couldn't have been smaller. At any rate, I'm well satisfied if she understands that it is Daddy's gift. And that's about all there is to say tonight, baby. You know, of course, that I adore you, but I'll keep reminding you of it anyway. I do love you so very much, Ev. My dearest love to my own pumpkin. Love to all from your devoted Phil.